the first CFL season opener to be held here, the first in Saskatchewan since 2010. And two teams that made the playoffs last year, Glenn, that are looking to make that next step. And they have reason to think that way. Their quarterback play, Drew Brown, said he felt like a new kid at school last year. He's more relaxed in his second year coming in.
Yeah, first year for Drew Brown as a full-time starter. He threw for just shy of 4,000 yards and missed 3 games. So he's looking to progress in his journey with the same offensive coordinator, same system, and a lot of the same teammates around him. From a second-year starter to the other sideline and a 13-year vet. He's 39 years young, but Trevor Harris has thrown for over 4,000 yards 5 times in his career and over 100 starts.
There's his head coach, Corey Mace, his second year as a head coach here in Saskatchewan. They took a great stride last year at 9-8-1. Went to the Western Final, lost to Winnipeg. Bob Dice, also a 9-8-1 record in his second full season last year as the head coach, and lost in the Eastern semifinal to the Toronto Argonauts. Lots of changes for these teams. We'll get into that as well. It's a clean slate for both of them, the entire Canadian Football League, and what a spot to get this season started here at Mosaic Stadium in Regina. There is Devontae Dedmon. You got explosive returners in this game as well, with Dedmon and Mario Alford, his counterpart with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And the Ottawa REDBLACKS did not win the toss. Saskatchewan did. The Riders deferred. They'll take the ball to start the second half. So Ottawa wants the ball now, and it's Brett Lothar. And looking there at one of the new REDBLACKS, Dan Adeboboye, back there for Ottawa, along with Devontae Dedmon. A new season is underway. CFL 2025 has begun, and Dedmon has it, taking it at his 10, across the 25, and he's met there and tackled. And a fired up green and white crew as Drew Brown heads in for the REDBLACKS.
Pats popping right off the opening kickoff for the opening game of the season. There's Drew Brown, just shy of 4,000, as I mentioned. 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Started 15 games for the REDBLACKS and led this offense to over 300 yards passing per game. That was just shy of first place in the league. The Hamilton Tiger Cats won that title, but Ottawa right behind them.
Drew Brown, 8-6-1 as a starter. Of course, came over from Winnipeg, where he was a backup to Zach Pilaris. His first year as REDBLACKS starter was last year, and about to begin a new season. You see Eugene Lewis, one of the newcomers to that Ottawa offense. Explosive receiver. And we got a delay right away here for the REDBLACKS.
Not sure they had
violation. Ottawa number 3. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Yeah, not sure they had the full personnel package out there. They were man short. Things organized early. You see both teams will try and find some timing as quickly as possible, especially offensively. Just 2 preseason games, and the starters don't get much time in the preseason either.
And this is still a little rust there for the REDBLACKS, so they'll finally scrimmage 5 yards further back. Here we go. Empty backfield. It's complete. Caught by Justin Hardy, one of the leading receivers, second in the CFL last year with 1,343 yards.
Let's get right out here and see this great receiving core, and it looks like it's got Drew Brown's going to have a lot of weapons this year. That's Justin Hardy. That's a 1,000-yard guy, and we can go across the board here when we get you to the lineups, but he's got some weapons now, and he added one in Gino, as you mentioned.
Now you got William Stanback in the backfield for Ottawa. Good pickup. Set up a second down and short, 2nd and 3. Brown to throw again. He has time. He completes it to Hardy again. Hardy found a spot, sat down, and picked that one up. It gets it near midfield, and a first down for the REDBLACKS.
Last year, Justin Hardy, 97 catches for number 2 for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Over 1,300 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. And going to his number 1 target from a year ago early in this one.
What excites them offensively is to have a talented possession receiver like him, and the big play capability of Gino Lewis and Khalil Pimpleton as well. So far, the REDBLACKS passing well, both to Hardy, and now a carry by Braylon Addison. the veteran, back with the Red Blacks, and doesn't get much there as we take a look at that Ottawa REDBLACKS offense.
Yeah, I'll show you some of these weapons. First up front, it all starts with your center, calling all the protections out for the entire O-line. It's a good veteran group for the most part. Jacob Ruby is the guy in the middle. And here's the weapons that I talked about. You look across that board, there's a lot of 1,000-yard receiver potential there, plus Williams Stanback. So if a team wants to go lighter and play more DBs, they can run the ball between the tackles with a power runner and Stanback.
Addison in the slot, Stanback in the backfield next to Brown to throw again. And caught again. Another completed pass there, and it is Addison. Had the carry earlier, has the catch, and a good opening drive here to start the CFL season for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Braylon Addison is in that 3-receiver spot, and with the hash marks where they are now, it's basically a balanced field. You see him sit down in that hole in the zone, and good drive to open things up here for Drew Brown.
3 for 3, 51 yards, opening possession of this one. And throwing again. Backside. With the screen there to Addison, who gets it inside the 35. Another short gain, setting up a 2nd and long for the REDBLACKS.
Take a look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders defense. Big offseason acquisition for them up front in the interior of that D-line. Mike Rose, former Calgary Stampeder. See him working tandem with Micah Johnson. There's the linebacking core. CJ Avery, I should say, was a possible scratch for this one, but he is in the lineup, and there is the top defensive player from 2024.
2nd and 9 now. Drew Brown throwing, and underneath, Stanback has it. William Stanback's first touch as a member of the Ottawa REDBLACKS gets it down near another first down, very close, around the 25 of the Roughriders.
Lots of weapons, and Stanback, this is a good example of what he can do. First of all, he catches the ball to the backfield as well as any back in the league, and that's what he has here on this play. But watch how he breaks the first tackle. If that tackle is made there, the Ottawa REDBLACKS are trying a field goal. But he gets that extra 2 or 3, gets him into short yardage, and now it's Dustin Crum time.
Short yardage specialist, Crum, the quarterback, and he bumped right away. He got a second lunge. When he was first contacted, he didn't have it. See where they spot it now, but it looked like the second effort might be just enough. It is. The sticks do move, and Ottawa has a first down.
Oh, he just barely made this because it looked like he bobbled the snap a little bit and didn't get a good push off. See how he hesitates there? And now he's in the back of his own offensive lineman, like Jacob Ruby. Didn't have it initially, didn't have it there. Jay Rivas trying to get that second effort, got the ball across the plane.
Continues now inside the 25. It started at the Ottawa 23 after that opening penalty. Swinging it off. And it is caught by Addison. The second catch of the evening, and he took a hit and forced out of bounds. Another 2nd and long coming up for the Ottawa offense.
So Braylon Addison, when you think back to his days in Hamilton, 1,000-yard plus receiver. Justin Hardy already big time involved in this opening drive for the REDBLACKS season. Another 1,000-yard potential. The upside ceiling of that we haven't even got close to of Khalil Pimpleton.
Yeah.
Can outrun angles and is super quick, making people miss. And then, oh, by the way,
who's that?
How about this guy?
Yeah.
Gino Lewis out there added to the group.
Still doesn't have a touch as a REDBLACK now. It's 2nd and 9 again. Ottawa. Brown caught. Speaking of Gino, the first catch for Eugene Lewis gets Ottawa close to the Rider end zone. A 1st and goal is coming up.
Gino Lewis, of course, is riding a nice touchdown streak of 8 straight games with a touchdown going back to last year. And he's on the doorstep here, does not cross the plane. Takes a hit, pays the price. First catch as an Ottawa REDBLACK for 87.
He's got a nice little touchdown streak going from last year, and who knows, maybe he finds the end zone in this game to keep that streak going, but it's a 1st and goal right now for Brown and the REDBLACKS. Dustin Crum in and short yardage again on this 1st and goal play, and keeping it right side, and breaks the plane for the opening touchdown for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Right down
impressive drive for Drew Brown. You talked off the top about him being the newcomer last year, working with Tommy Condell, the offensive coordinator, in a brand new system. As you mentioned off the top, felt a little bit like it was his first day at school, trying to make friends and things like that, and take over that leadership role. But now a full training camp in year 2. A lot of the weapons are the same as last year. Crum finishes it off, but what a great opening drive for Drew Brown, because his timing was there.
It really was. Looked sharp. Mid-season form, 11 plays, 82 yards, and 635. Remember, not the greatest start to the drive either. Before they got a play off, they took a time count penalty.
First of 15 to start the drive.
That is the left tackle, Dino Boyd, who's slow to head off now.
But his timing was there, his recognition, read the defense well, found the holes, started out with Justin Hardy, spread it around a little bit as the drive went on, and finished with the major.
That guy, not his first rushing touchdown. In his first year, 2 years ago, he had 9. He had 7 more last year rushing TDs. And quarterback Dustin Crum called upon again in short yardage and gets it in. So Lewis Ward on now, the veteran in his 7th year to the University of Ottawa, to be put down by Rich Hilione in the snap from Peter Adji. To see if they can make it a 7-point game. A game that's not even through the halfway point of the quarter, but a lot of time has passed before the Riders and Trevor Harris get the ball because of this long Ottawa drive. Crum is in. Red Blacks on top.
Sophomore starter Drew Brown in his first game of the season, on fire out of the gate. 7 for 7 for Brown, was throwing on time to the right spot, spread it around to all of his weapons. Got Braylon Addison going in the drive, started with Justin Hardy. There's Gino Lewis, the newcomer to a dynamic group. Crum finishes it off, but an impressive opening drive for the Red Blacks.
So yeah, 7 for 7, 84 yards. Rich Hilione kicking off for Ottawa. That one takes a bounce and goes to Mario Alford. He's at his 20. Alford across the 30, across the 40, across the 45, up near the 50 with a late flag coming out as he is tackled there. So Trevor Harris, 13th season and 3rd with the green and white. Looking forward to his first opportunity to run that Rider offense coming up.
Take the shot. Wes Anderson's The Fix.
To see flashing before your eyes at Exotica.com.
When it comes to completion percentage, these 3 lead the way, and there is a connection to Suits. Cody Fajardo at 71%, then Trevor Harris, once an understudy to Ricky Ray.
Well, tremendously accurate. Trevor Harris, one of the most accurate passers in league history. In fact, second all-time to Dave Dickinson. Healthy again.
And starting this one with the Riders down 7-0, and the carry from A.J. Ouellette. Shed some pounds, as we talked about in the preview now, and looking for a better season this time around. But yeah, what can you say about a guy started his career in Toronto and has had a lot of stops along the way, and at age 39, the elder statesman, but playing a lot younger game.
Well, and I know don't have to remind Rider fans, but he's gone through a couple of injury-plagued seasons here in Saskatchewan. But when he was healthy to start the year last year, the Riders were 4-0.
Yeah.
To start the year, and Trevor Harris at the helm. Then he was injured and missed some time.
Ended up missing a third of the season, but did come back. And loaded up deep. Takes that shot down inside the 10. Kean Schaefer Baker is well covered too in the pass off target. And so it is a quick 2 and out on that opening possession for Harris and the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Taking a shot, not wrong early to take a shot down the field. I used to think that if quarterback is coming out of the gate trying to go deep, that you might have to back up a little bit. But against the Ottawa opening drive, a 2 and out. Long field goal attempt here for Brett Lowther.
This will be a 53-yard attempt for Brett Lowther, the veteran out of Truro, Nova Scotia. Joe Couch to put it down, but no. And that got botched and tossed back, and it's still an active play. And Lowther just trying to boot it away, and under the circumstances does a nice job. to get it down. They put the flag out because the punt went out of bounds outside the 15-yard line, but still under the circumstances, disaster for the Riders on that field goal try.
Got a new holder in Joe Couch.
Joe Couch, who's the punter and the holder.
Nope, that's
just couldn't get it down the right way, so no points on the board for the Riders. Red-black football in a 7-0 lead. They were once teammates with the Montreal Alouettes. Eugene Lewis went on to Edmonton Williams Standback, BC, but the active leaders in receiving and yardage and teammates once again. Let's say hello to Britt Dort.
Well, Standback signed with the Red Blacks in January. Lewis about a month later, and he immediately called Standback and said, "It's real. We're doing it." I asked about their friendship. Gino Lewis's face lit up and said, "That's my boy. He's been my boy from the beginning, and we have been friends." And it's nice to see when we were rookies in the league, learning how to do it, that now we get to be veterans on the same team again. And he said, teach these rookies what it means to be a pro in this league. And when I talked to Drew Brown about having these two veterans on his squad this year, he said it's nice to know that you have two guys that when you give them the ball, they're going to do the right thing with it.
Well, Alouettes fans certainly remember what that duo could do, the Montreal offense, and now Ottawa fans. Eugene Lewis with one catch so far in this game, and it's been mostly Ottawa's offense after a long drive for a touchdown. They have it again, but going nowhere is Standback. That time around, Mike Rose, former Calgary Stampeder, his first year in green and white with the tackle.
Good hustle play there from Mike Rose, but yeah, William Standback, when you look at the numbers, I mean, second last year rushing the football to Brady Oliveira in Winnipeg, but so still getting it done as far as the stats go. But his presence on the field, his calming demeanor. Drew Brown talked about how important it is that running back stands right beside the quarterback on almost every play.
And that running back is Dan Adeboboye, the former Argonaut, also making his red-black debut as he moves out. And that one is caught again right around the 30 or 45, I should say. And that's Keelan White, their top draft pick. He went third overall in the 2025 draft out of Montana.
Mario Alford already a good return after the long drive and touchdown by Ottawa to give his defense a chance, get a chance for a long field goal, which didn't turn out for the Riders.
So Richie Leone back at his 30, and Alford is back for it. Here we go again. Oh, nearly broke through that, just shy of the 40, 43-yard bunt, and the flag is out, and A.J. Ouellette starting his second year in green and white and looking for more production. He'll have his chance coming up. Rider football down 7-0. 2 years ago, A.J. Ouellette was a 1,000-yard rusher. Last year, his first with the Riders, he was limited to 8 games because of a hip injury, and you can see it in the numbers.
Yeah, I would suggest it was a disappointing season for A.J. Ouellette, but it was due to those injuries. Got himself in ultra shape.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in good shape. We're talking superhero shape.
Throwing is Harris. It is caught by Mitch Picton, the veteran Rider. Right out of Regina. And that's a first down. First down for Saskatchewan's offense in this game.
Picton just been getting better every year in, year out, improves, gets more opportunities as the years have gone on. It's his 7th season, all with the Saskatchewan Roughriders under the University of Regina, and very important receiver for them this season.
Mitch Picton, drafted in 2017 by his hometown team, has that catch up to the 25, and a 1st and 10 for Harris. Faking the handoff to Ouellette, throwing it off to his right to a wide-open receiver. Sam Emilus with a breakout season, and the ball gets peeled out. Adrian Fry with it in his hands. And a fumble, a turnover here. Wait for some discussion on this. Was Emilus down?
Let's take a look. Twisting, turning.
No, it's out.
It's out before he's down by contact, and he's still fighting for yards as he went down. The officials have ruled before that the ball carrier's forward progress is stopped even if you don't hear a whistle. However, I'm not sure you can make that argument if you're the Riders with that play. It was Sam Emilus fighting for yards, pushing forward, trying to get that extra yard, and it's ripped out of there before. He's certainly not down by contact.
No. And that was good work by Adrian Fry, the new corner, getting the start for the Red Blacks. And yeah, the turnover, there is no argument. Saskatchewan's defense is out. The ball is at the Rider 44. So far for Saskatchewan, they've had a botched field goal try, and now this fumble in their own zone. So a chance for the Red Blacks to increase their 7-point lead. First and 10, play action fake, and off to the left. It is caught by the fullback, Anthony Gosselin, with a catch, and sets up a second and short in his 7th year at the University of Sherbrooke.
I mentioned that consecutive touchdown record that Gino Lewis is chasing. Terry Evanson holds it back from 1967-68, split over 2 seasons, with 10 straight games. Gino Lewis at 8. And Sean Millington from the BC Lions days. Maybe this drive.
Maybe. Pump fake. 2nd and 4. Down the left. Coverage is there. Roland Milligan, the defensive player of the year in the CFL last year, comes across in time to make sure there's no chance for Gino Lewis.
Gino Lewis just trying to gauge. He didn't come off the line full speed as he was trying to find where the hole would be, but just a great reaction by Roland Milligan. And what a season Zero had back there. I mean, he was all over. Led the league in interceptions, defensive player, but it was special teams as well where he was dominant.
Here's a 45-yard try for Lewis Ward, and he misses it. He pushes it right, so Mario Alford's going to bring it out to the 10. And you get another big return going. He has something going. Ward can't touch him. And Richie Leone, the holder in that play, escorts him out of bounds. But another big return for Mario Alford to see the Riders unscathed after the turnover.
Well, that's 2 big returns already in this game for Mario Alford. And it doesn't have to be a return for a touchdown to be real important. It just gives your offense a chance. It brings your team back emotionally. That was a turnover. Could have turned into points. That was a missed field goal, and away he goes. Good field position for Trevor Harris, and as you mentioned, no points scored by Ottawa with plus field position.
So a good break for the Riders there. Still down just 7, up across their 45. Right about the point that Lewis Ward had tried that field goal. Trevor Harris right back on. Handing off the left side. Finds the edge and a whole lot of yardage. Still runs like a truck, just with a lighter payload right now.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it, because he does have a lighter payload, and this is an example of why he did it. You see that jump cut where he bounced outside? That's quick feet. Got him outside on the edge, and he picks up a first down, get this offense rolling. A.J. Ouellette wanted to shed a few pounds, got in good shape. It was a gym challenge. In fact, when we talked to Corey Mace, he was drinking some sort of healthy drink, because A.J. Ouellette said, hey, drink this, man, and get in good shape.
From Thor to Thor Light, and that first down across midfield. Taking to him, Harris buying himself some time, and he has a receiver. It's Picton again. Mitch Picton with his 2nd catch of this season debut down inside the 35 of the Red Blacks.
Corey Mace's offense, his plan to start the season was going to be Sean McEwen at center. That didn't work out because he got hurt in camp. So Logan Furlan, Mr. Versatile, moves in there. Peyton Collins, the rookie out of Eastern Kentucky, is out there by himself at left tackle against Lorenzo Malden. And there's the receiving corps. Emilus over 1,000 yards, back-to-back seasons.
At 87 for 1,064 and 5 touchdowns in 2024. First and 10 at the Ottawa 33. Harris facing the heat. Doesn't scramble a lot. He takes off there and just gets a few yards down to the 30 for the veteran quarterback. Trevor Harris.
So this will be a matchup that we'll watch. Lorenzo Malden with his 8 sacks, which led the team a year ago, against the rookie out of Eastern Kentucky and Peyton Collins. See how he holds up there in the receiving core. Darius Pickett, veteran, 66 tackles for him last year. And the former Argo Robert Priester, pick 6 in the Grey Cup, joins that secondary that has been revamped this season.
Drastically different from the last game they played in that Eastern Semi in Toronto last November. Here's Harris quickly again, and he strikes, and it's the first catch. For Dante Myers, wearing number 88 for Saskatchewan, with the catch.
Here's the recognition from Trevor Harris. He recognizes that inside cut and leverage that Myers has. Leads him not only into the middle, but leads him so he can protect himself down low. Get that first down.
His CFL debut was a year ago in Ottawa against the Red Blacks, and he had a great game. They set up a draw. He finds some room and tries to pull his way for a little bit more for A.J. Ouellette. And Javon Santos-Knox in on the tackle there for the Red Blacks.
I think A.J. Ouellette maybe have to take a couple of plays to regroup. That was pretty good contact at the end of this draw play. Little draw play underneath to A.J. Ouellette. Big contact right there. Yeah, it was Javon Santos-Knox, the middle linebacker, coming in.
So a second down now. And this will be the last play of the first quarter. The Red Blacks started quickly, drove down for a touchdown, and now the Riders trying to answer back. Late in this quarter, Harris, end zone. No, his receiver falls. It just drops shy of Emilus, and a late flag does come out. And that's back in the Rider backfield.
Might be a late hit. Bryce Carter, after the ball was thrown from Trevor Harris.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Ottawa number 91. It's an unrestricted penalty. It is first down on the 1-yard line, and that's the first quarter.
Announced by the referee Tim Croker. So Bryce Carter gets called for this, and it sets up the Riders near the end zone.
Yeah, so this used to be this is a rule change in the Canadian Football League this year, that because it's inside of the 20, this is a major penalty. It would have been half the distance last year, which would put the ball about the 5. This year it's down to the 1-yard line.
All Red Blacks to start the quarter. Looking like the Riders' chance to tie it to start the second. At Mosaic Stadium, Glenn and I just also want to add to the heartfelt condolences to our friend and our colleague Milt Stegall, suffering the unthinkable loss of his son Chase. To Milt, to his wife Darlene, also to Chase's brother Colin. We're absolutely heartbroken for you.
Yeah, Rod, there really are no words about Milt. You have to know that your teammates here at TSN, we're here, the family, the CFL family from coast to coast. You are, and your family are in our hearts, and we're here for you, whatever you need.
We love you, Milt, and we're always thinking of you. Lots of great expressions of condolence before the game as well for the family of Milt Stegall. The second quarter begins. Bob Dice's Red Blacks still lead this game for the moment, but it's a first and goal after a penalty for the Riders right down at the 1. And it's Tommy Stevens, former Stampeder, short yardage expert, in. See if he can tie this game, and he does. Pending the convert, of course. Still 1 point away, but the first touchdown of the season for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, scored by one of the newcomers, quarterback Tommy Stevens.
Well, they did some work in the offseason, the Riders, to create a different look in the backup in the quarterback room in general. But with regards to the backups, their short yardage player in Tommy Stevens, who we know how good he is at that job, and was for the Calgary Stampeders for a couple of years. And of course, Jake Mayer, who is the backup quarterback to Trevor Harris.
Tommy Stevens now has 26 rushing touchdowns. This is the start of his 4th season in the CFL. Did it very well for Calgary. Doing it there for Saskatchewan with Lothar and the point after try, and put down there by the new holder, Joe Couch. Pushed off to the right, but it is good. Splits the uprights, and we do indeed have a tie game after a 7-play, 46-yard drive.
So I mentioned the O-line and the quarterbacks. Some of the changes for the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year. They brought in Jake Mayer and Tommy Stevens from Calgary. So Jake Mayer will be the backup, a veteran quarterback that's won a lot of games in the CFL, to play behind Trevor Harris, who is 39. And I mentioned Sean McEwen. That was the plan for having to put Sean McEwen at center to start this season. He was injured along with Philip Gagnon, who will both be out for a pretty long period of time, according to Corey Mace. So they had to do some juggling to start the season here on the O-line. But there's some important acquisitions. And Tavon Campbell coming back, the former U of R Ram and NFL corner, coming back to his roots and starting on the corner for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
So Dedman is back with Attaboy and Lothar to kick off. We got a 7-7 tie. Opening night in the Canadian Football League. We are glad you joined us as it's going Dedman's way down at the Ottawa 10. Devontae Dedman. He finds an opening. Look out indeed as a flag comes out as he just heads out of bounds just across midfield.
During their turn, holding Ottawa number 99. 10-yard penalty, first down Ottawa.
Gino Lewis, big plays. We saw it so many times with the Alouettes. We saw it with Edmonton as well. Superstar indeed.
Yes, sir. And there are plenty of superstars in this game, and he is certainly one of them. And, you know, when you talk to Bob Dice about, he gets pretty excited about his receiving core. In fact, so excited that he said, you know, with all the different types of guys we have, and Gino Lewis, as Brett mentioned, you know, he adds some size to our group in the receiver room, but he says with all the different types of guys we have kind of like the Avengers in our receiving core.
We've both seen what he can do. How he can high point a football, get him in single coverage, and those deep routes. Brown to throw again. He's been throwing a lot, and why not? That one is caught. And that's Braylon Addison again. Another touch for the veteran Addison, and a first down for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Well, you can tell Drew Brown just in complete control of this offense in year 2 with Tommy Condell. That's in a tight window right over the middle. That's the danger zone, throwing that ball. A lot of bad can happen when you throw it in there. And there's also Roland Milligan around it. He's a little slow to get up. Hopefully he's just winded, but complete control from Drew Brown early in this game.
Top defensive player in the CFL last year. Down on the field right now, Roland Milligan. We'll be back. Don't miss all episodes of the Emmy Award-winning hit critics called breathtaking and a masterpiece, The Last of Us, an HBO original series. Stream all episodes now, only on Crave. Proudly Canadian. Back at Mosaic and Regina, and applause now for Roland Milligan, their defensive star. But it's such a terrific year last year after being injured and has walked off the field. Here's a look at what he did.
Yeah, it was a dream season. I mean, for a DB to finish first in interceptions, pass knockdowns, to be in the top 10 there. His special teams tackles, he was third, but there was a tie at first. He was actually in second in the numbers. And how dominant he was. expected to see him walking off.
So Milligan out of the game for now. Walks off. Brown throwing nearly intercepted. The safety, Nelson Macomba, just jumped it in perfectly. His timing was there, and it is knocked down incomplete. Nearly a peck.
Intended target right here, and it's going to be a bender into the middle. And Drew Brown has got away with this a couple times. You saw the tight window he threw there when Roland Millen got hurt. That time, Lacombo jumped it. Really could have had the interception here. He had it in both hands, but intended target was Justin Hardy. You cut underneath that. That's the safety's job. Flow to the football when you see it thrown.
Second down. Brown running out of time and puts it underneath to Daniel Adebaboye. The ex-Argonaut in his 4th year in the CFL at Bryant, and gets it up well shy of a first down, so a third is coming up here for Ottawa. Back. Been an early star for the Riders. Had the big return to help shorten the field for their touchdown drive and back to punt it. One of the great punters in the history of the Canadian Football League, Richie Leone. Some heat on, but gets out one away, and Alford taking it at the 24 and can't find as much room to work with inside as the Red Blacks do have him taken down around the 28.
Touched on it moments ago with when it comes to Sam Emilus and his upside potential, and we're just scratching the surface here too, because looking at a guy with back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons and such a smooth route runner. I mean, if he's one of those guys that doesn't look like he's running fast until he runs right by you. I saw some dramatic catches.
Yeah, I said it was suggesting breakout season, but that was 2 years ago, and he added to it last year. That one is caught. Keyshawn Johnson with his first catch of the season. He gets it up closer to the 40.
Well, I bring it up because a lot of Rider fans this year and listening to them on the radio and throughout training camp, and they're concerned that they didn't have that big name. They didn't have the Geno Lewis type of receiver in their lineup, and that was maybe their only concern. Like the defense, like the O-line, obviously loved the quarterback situation, and then thought, well, who's going to be our big play receiver? Well, I suggest Sam Emilus right out of the gate. I mean, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Second and 6, the Rider 34. Flag comes out. Looks like a free one. And it's Emilus with it. Lots of room after the catch, too, inside the Red-Black 45 for Emilus. When the flag had been down, appearing to be against Ottawa.
Offside. Ottawa number 91. Penalties declined. Resulting plays the first down.
Just sits in that open area. Sam Emilus, second of that 3 receiver side. Wasn't a bust in the Ottawa coverage. I think he just found the hole in it.
It looked like a slow start for that Rider offense. Trevor Harris, though, 6 for 7, 100 yards in a tie game and in the Ottawa zone at the 43. Off to the left, catching that hitch. It's Dante Myers who keeps his feet and nearly was able to keep it in bounds close to another Saskatchewan first down.
Yeah, so you look at Dante Myers, you look at his arrival last season and that he did some real good things. In fact, his first CFL game was against Ottawa, and he had over 100 yards that game. So it was a good debut for number 88. And then don't forget about Keon Schaefer-Baker, dynamic, tall receiver that can make it happen on the other side.
Well, you're right about Myers. He had 8 catches for 101 yards. And then the next week in Montreal, 8 catches for 101 yards. How's that for the first 2 games of your career?
Well, he wants to show a couple things. One, he can get it done at 100 yards, but the other, he's consistent.
He sure is. Another injury. It's the safety for Ottawa, Alonzo Adai. Still down on the field here in the second quarter. Trevor Harris turned 39 last Saturday and feels great about this season ahead, and there's a good reason why. Let's send it back to Brett.
Well, he told us that he actually hasn't had 2 consecutive seasons with the same offensive coordinator since 2017-2018. So his relationship with Mark Mueller this season, he said, is a luxury. All about that continuity he's having with him. But he also told me when it comes to that rollover, you have to ask yourself, is there juice left to squeeze? And he says, I feel like we're just beginning to squeeze the orange in this group, referencing his receivers, because guys, he has played with every single one of the receivers in this lineup tonight already last season, and if not 2 seasons ago.
And Brett, you were talking about it. Been a while since he's seen such continuity as he hands off to Thomas Bertrand-Hudon. Another Rider running back getting down to the 25, and it ends up in the hands of Johnson for a few more yards. But yeah, you've got to go back to 17 and 18 when he was with the Ottawa REDBLACKS, and he had his best year in touchdown passes one year, and he was over 5,000 yards in 2018 when they went to the Grey Cup.
Well, when he had that continuity in Ottawa in 2018, he threw for over 5,000 yards. I mean, this is how important that continuity is, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think at times you can get away with it on defense, because on defense it's like wherever the ball goes, 12 guys just go there. But on offense, it's about timing and depths, and you all have to be very coordinated.
Extra yardage there by Johnson. Got them a first down, and just back to Bertrand-Hudon, the big back, who turns around and backs his way up for a few more yards. And third year at a Delaware State, Thomas Bertrand-Hudon.
But, you know, it was interesting, our conversation with Trevor Harris. And I asked him about the offseason, and every year you prioritize something else in your training. And I said, what did you prioritize? What is usually players will say a weakness, one of the weaknesses that I want to work on, keep working on. He said, you know, everyone says that. I'm working on my strengths. In order to be an elite player, you have to keep getting better at even at the things that you do well. And that's what he worked on in the offseason.
It's 2nd and 3. Bertrand-Hudon in for the injured A.J. Ouellette. He's got it again. Third straight touch down inside the 10. Another first down. Yeah, Ouellette on a draw play. Innocent enough looking back late in the first quarter. And their touchdown drive looked to be favoring his hand as he went off the field. So Bertrand-Hudon, the third-year Rider, in there. And a 1st and goal now.
Bertrand-Hudon with 30 carries in 2 years for Saskatchewan, but a nice 6.6-yard average throughout those carries.
And running well now. We're waiting an update on their starting running back, A.J. Ouellette. 7-7 Saskatchewan looking for their first lead of this game. Big chance now at the Ottawa 9. Empty backfield. Harris ends up. His dad's to what he did last year and the year before in the end zone again. A connection from Harris. And the Riders have their first lead of the season.
Talked about Trevor Harris's completion percentage and his accuracy, how accurate he is all time. Second to Dave Dickinson in that category all time, and he shows his accuracy there. There were 2 defenders between him and his intended target in Sam Emilus, and he threaded that needle, put it right over top with great touch, right in the 19's hands, his first touchdown of the campaign.
And his 39-year-old quarterback's not looking too shabby right now. 8 for 9 for 120 in that touchdown toss. Harris to Emilus in a 7-play, 80-yard drive in just over 4 minutes. So it was a great start for the REDBLACKS, but momentum has swung to the home side with the point after try once again from Lothar. Bumps it through. 14-7 midway through the second quarter. Opening night, Mosaic Stadium in Regina. Rider fans liking what they see right now. Trevor Harris there with Jake Mayer, and looking over what went right for Saskatchewan in that last drive leading to the touchdown to Samuel Emilus.
Well, let's show you how Emilus gets open here right to the back of the end zone on a nice little post pattern. But this is where I'm talking about the accuracy from Trevor Harris as he drops this in. There's some safety help underneath. Pretty good coverage there at the back of the end zone. But Harris puts it right where he has to. Drops it into Sam Emilus.
So now Ottawa trails in the hands of Devontae Dedmon. Oh, head over heels. He's tripped up there and goes down right just around the red-black 40. So back for Drew Brown, who's 11 of 13 for 121 yards. A lot has gone right for the Red Blacks, especially on that opening drive, but cooling off a little bit now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if you go back to, if you're Drew Brown right here, and go to some run game on first down, getting more manageable second down situations with William Stanback.
Stanback has one carry for -1 yard. That's it so far. He's got the ball again and picks up one there to get it back to even for a 1,000-yard rusher with the BC Lions last year, and did it a couple of times with the Alouettes as well. Explosive running back William Stanback had a touchdown for Montreal 2 years ago in the Grey Cup against Winnipeg for moving on.
Well, the run stabilizes things too. It gets your O-line firing off. It stabilizes things a little bit. And
gets it up across the 40 to 2nd and 9 after that 1-yard pickup. Around the pass off to the right. It is caught. And it is Keelan White, the rookie. A first down Ottawa and up near midfield for the product of Montana. He's from North Vancouver, and a great pickup in the draft. 3rd overall for the Red Blacks.
3rd overall pick, and son of Richard White, who was a former teammate of mine at Simon Fraser University and here in Saskatchewan. Boy, are they happy with him. It is so hard to crack the lineup when you only have 2 preseason games and 2 weeks of camp.
And especially with Nick Martin, one of their top picks a year ago, injured in camp and out for the season. Great opportunity for White under these circumstances, but not here. Malik Carney coming in on Drew Brown, and the Riders pick up their first sack, and a big loss here for the Red Blacks.
Carney uses his veteran savvy here as he's going to hop outside. He's going to just hop outside, then take an inside pass rush move. Just before that replay started, he was hopping outside to show like he might. There he is right there hopping out, and then he shows like he might try and take a wide pass rush, and he goes straight up the middle. Gets to Drew Brown almost untouched.
His 5th year out of North Carolina, started with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He had 4 sacks with the Riders last season. He has 1 so far on opening night. Brown again underneath Khalil Pimpleton. He was one of the players that turned heads certainly in the CFL in his debut last year with Ottawa. Ended up in a short period of time, 8 games with over 700 yards receiving.
Well, he averaged almost 90 yards a game. So, and that was best in the league. So, it was like he just arrived on the scene and was outrunning angles. I always say it like that because in football you can take an angle to catch even fast receivers when you're not as fast as them, and he was outrunning those angles.
We were all watching last year in Edmonton. We caught that crossing route and got the edge, and it was, who is this guy with that kind of speed?
Yeah, he can go.
He later in a punt return 99 yards for a touchdown against Calgary last year. Khalil Pimpleton gets his first touch of the season. Mario Alpert, he's been busy. Had some big returns in this game so far. Shorter one there, but Saskatchewan football back in the hands of Trevor Harris and the Rider offense with that 7-point lead. And Friday night football is coming up tomorrow night. Molson Stadium in Montreal in a rematch of the Eastern Final. It's the Argos. They made some changes, and Davis Alexander, now the #1 quarterback with the Alouettes. So don't miss that Friday night football from Montreal and our panel. Here tonight for the opener, and off to Montreal for the opener there. What a busy way to start the season for Kate, Chaz, and Enoch.
Nice to have him out on the road, though.
Sure is.
And then we hit to BC.
And yeah, we're off, and we got an exciting matchup as well coming up Saturday. You're right, with the Elks and the Lions. lines. As Bertrand Hudon has mentioned, in at running back for Saskatchewan now with the injury to A.J. Ouellette, who left the game late in the first quarter.
So two key players for Saskatchewan in the locker room right now, or at least injured right now. That's one, A.J. Ouellette on offense, and Roland Milligan, who didn't go back in that last series on defense for Saskatchewan. Corey May's going to have to do some juggling here.
It was Kerfella Exime who was in the spot of Milligan. It's a 2nd and 5 now, though, after Bertrand Hudon suddenly busy. Remaining in that Rider backfield now for Trevor Harris, who will throw. And he'll throw it deep right. Coverage there. C.J. Colden, who's in his 2nd year, but his 1st year as a starter, gets the interception. His first in the CFL. A guy that was cut by Saskatchewan a year ago and played his one and only CFL game against the Riders with the Red Blacks last year.
The blitz off the edge, and Trevor Harris thought to try and beat the blitz. He would throw the deep ball. The problem was he was throwing into the teeth of the blitz, coming right here. And when that is a free pass rusher named Lorenzo Malden, it's hard to throw into the blitz when it's him. And you can see it's underthrown. C.J. Colden comes up with the interception.
He got one game last year in the CFL with the Red Blacks against the Riders. He went to college in Oklahoma. Before that, had several seasons at Wyoming. He's got himself a CFL pick. And it's Ottawa ball. Drew Brown again. Tries to escape the pocket. And Lake Corte Moore and Caleb Sanders are in there to make sure that there's nowhere for Brown to go.
Corey Mace, a little more of a rotation on that defensive line, making sure everyone stays fresh. Remember, Micah Johnson, 36 years old. Shane Ray is 32. Good rotation and pressure on Brown.
Just under 3 minutes, last play before the warning flag is in. Brown completes it at the Rider 50. And that is Keelan White. The rookie gets another catch pending the outcome of this flag. But the warning is issued as we get closer. And an offside Ottawa getting closer to halftime. Great start for the Red Blacks. They're down 7, though, here at Mosaic in Regina. You're very brave, Kate Burness, but they seem to be okay in Pill Country. When do we get to go there? By the way, when do we get the pierogies? Are they all gone?
Yeah,
what's up with that?
Really good.
Red Black football, down by 7. Late first half, rolling out is Brown. Coming back to the football is Addison, but no, DeMarcus Fields is right there with him, stride for stride. It's incomplete, and they'll be punting away. But yeah, how about that? She wears red. She ventures into Pill Country and.
I'm wondering if there's any beverages going around down there.
Down in Hill Country? None at all.
Kate, of course, has her security, so she's good. Where's Ches? I wonder if he's stuck down there somewhere.
He's in the middle of Hill Country now. Here's Richie Leone. Punts that away. Dolphin. Nice tackle there on special teams. Lucas Cormier. They'll limit the damage after a 48-yard punt by Leone.
Well, if you're trying to sum up, what's happened. I mean, early on in the game, Ottawa just walked right down the field in their first series. That's the 7 points on the board. And since then, it looks to me like the Saskatchewan front four on defense has taken it up a notch as this quarter has gone on. This half has gone on and really has made it that much more difficult for Drew Brown. He can't get that offense any traction as this second quarter has happened. So that's been the difference.
Yeah, they really have settled down to the Riders. Remember, they were down 7-0 trying a field goal, and there was a problem with the placement and the kick for Lothar, so they didn't get any points there. And later, when driving and a fumble by Emilus, so the ball was stripped away, cost them too. So.
Yeah.
So an unnecessary roughness penalty is called against the Red Blacks. So that moves Saskatchewan up. They have the ball at their own 40. Still lots of time, too. 2:23 in the clock until halftime in this season opener. Thomas Bertrand-Houdan, a busy man now with the injury to A.J. Ouellette, gets it up to the 45.
Let's go back and show you that penalty. If you're an Ottawa fan, you're wondering why the extra yardage. There it is right at the top of your screen, and this is excessive. And player can get injured there, and that's a major penalty.
It was Kenny Onyeka wrapped in the leg of Aubrey Miller there, and costly for the Red Blacks. Look at the penalty numbers so far, and Ottawa penalized 3 times as much. Out of the hand of Harris, into the hands of Emilus, who has a touchdown in this game, and another catch.
Yeah, tough. It's tough defensively in this scenario because the half is rolling down, so you don't want to give up the big play behind you on a deep ball, and you want to play zone, have everything in front of you. But the way Trevor can be so efficient, Trevor Harris, lots of time to move it all the way down the field with these type of throws, 10-yarders.
Talking about his completion percentage all time, and 9 for 11 so far in this first half. Throwing again, completing again, Emilus again, and he's not done yet. Still moving inside the 40, 35, down to the 30, and they're at the very least in field goal range and looking for more with 1.5 minutes on the clock still.
See what I mean about this smooth route runner? First of all, he's, over the last couple of years, he's understood the zone looks, and now he knows where those weaknesses are. This time he just cut under the zone droppers, but look how smooth he is running. He can get to the outside, and it feels like you can make the tackle that he's right there, and then he just accelerates past you.
We're not even at halftime. Emilus has 5 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. Not too shabby on this season debut from the Ottawa 29. Quickly, Emilus again. Why not? Puts him over 100 for this first half alone, and down to the Ottawa 20.
Tough to play a zone defense against Trevor Harris. You have a guy that has seen every look you can throw at him. It's almost like when you're playing against Trevor Harris, if you play zone, he will dissect it. I mean, he's seen every look multiple times.
Can get rid of that ball so quickly. Bertrand was met initially behind the line of scrimmage. He could push his way a little bit forward.
And in fairness, the Ottawa secondary is trying to learn what each other does. I mean, take a look at the Eastern semifinal versus Toronto last year. That was their starting secondary. Completely different tonight, including Robert Priester, who brings a veteran championship mentality to that back end. Alonzo Adai is hurt and hasn't returned. So they're trying to get some chemistry in that back end, and right now Trevor Harris has found Sam Emilus and the soft spots. William Fields is the new defensive coordinator in Ottawa. Of course, he was with the Argos, and Kevin Iben and him together were calling the defenses for the Argos, the championship team in their season last year. He gets the job here in Ottawa. And I asked Bob Dice, what do you think will be different? Like, how different will it look? And he said, well, he likes how William Fields is really aggressive. And when you think aggressive defensively, you think blitz and a lot of man, a lot of zero coverage. Ask your guys to, in the back end, to take your man, mark them, and all over the field. That's what aggression. You think aggression on defense, you think blitz.
Yeah, and you saw 24 there. Charlie Ringland for Ottawa, who's the safety with the injury to Alonzo Adai. Harris, under a minute, threatening again, looks to the end zone, and the receiver is there, and that pass to the end zone. The flags come out for interference against Henderson and the Red Blacks.
I wonder if this will be accidental pass interference or is it full pass interference. I think Amari Henderson was looking to play the ball too, and Bob Dice wants to get his opinion in there at the very least. I think that's what Henderson is arguing. I mean, I don't think there's any question it's interference. Just what level?
Yeah. Ottawa number 4. Penalties half the distance to goal and an automatic first down.
No, you're right. That's exactly the call from the referee, Tim Croker. Accidental pass interference.
Yeah, so there's Emelis. You'll see Amari Henderson in a second. He's going to pick him up in that deep zone. There he is there, and as he opens up, he goes to play the ball too and reaches for it and then trips Emelis as they're both going to play the ball and protect their area. So I think the call was right. It's a pass interference, but it's accidental.
And with that, it moves down to the 10. And still 46 seconds left. First and goal. Riders up by 7. Looking to add to the lead. Bertrand dives, met right away. It's the party starter. Darius Pickett with a big tackle there. Missed the last third of the season last year with a ruptured Achilles, but looks pretty fired up on that play.
Sometimes you just get a feeling and you play the play. So you might have a responsibility to be in the outside gap or wherever, and you just say, you know what? I know what they're going to do. They're going to hand it off. I'm playing the play and making it in the backfield, and that's exactly what Darius Pickett does here.
Bertrand didn't have a chance on that one. Pickett, the East Defensive Player of the Year, with the Argos 2 years ago. And as said, his first season in Ottawa last year, cut short. Second and goal at the Ottawa 9 for Harris. And underneath, but no, a little bit too much underneath there for Mitch Picton, right down around the 1. So a third and goal coming up, and the field goal team is coming on.
Yeah, this one is, I think Trevor Harris is trying to pull Picton away from the inside defender here. But it's just, it's tough. It's 2 yards. He just couldn't make up that time.
So Brett Lother, who couldn't get his first field goal away, try to get his first field goal now with a new holder, Joe Couch, and no problem at all. Short distance, 3 more points on the board for the home side. And 17 seconds left in the half. It is 17-7 Saskatchewan.
Yeah, so Bob Dice at halftime's got to go in and try and get his offense back on track. And working with Tommy Condell, his offensive coordinator, and Drew Brown.
Well, I mean, if you look at those numbers, I mean, very good numbers for Brown, but there's some things they can certainly hang their hat on here. That opening drive, 11 plays for the touchdown. Defense forcing a couple of turnovers. They had the pick. They had the strip earlier on Emelis. So, but yeah, the momentum just gradually swung after Ottawa looked so impressive on that opening drive.
That Sask D line has turned it up in this second quarter.
Drew Brown started 9 for 9. Shane Ray is coming in, and that one is caught by Adebaboye, and that's out.
You see there, though, how Drew Brown had to throw that one? Falling away from the throw, and he did it because Ray was right in his kitchen. And this is a little thing. He completes it. He gets it out in the flat, but he's got a guy right in his face, and that's been the difference. That first drive, he was sitting back in that pocket and looked real comfortable.
Shane Ray back in the CFL. He was with the Argos in 21 and 22, won a Grey Cup with Toronto. Corey Mace was there then, and now back in the league. That is caught. Braylon Addison. Another catch there for Addison. And very little time left, just 8 seconds to go, but another first down. Addison with his 5th catch for 50 yards.
So Drew Brown doesn't need a lot here. He just needs, about 8 to 10. And getting a chance for a field goal try before the half.
Looking for a
hurry.
Quick pass here. It is caught by Hardy, but they run out of time. 0's on the clock. And it does not look like they're going to get a chance. Yeah, the flag comes out to signal that it is. Now, Bob Dice out to discuss this, but it looks like, yeah, they're denied a chance to get more points on the board, and that was the last play of the first half.
Well, let's take a look. The clock will be burned into your screen. Let's take a look. It's up in that right corner. It's a deep route, so it takes some time, and then Hardy takes a couple steps after. If he catches it and goes down, well, even if he surrenders, it takes a 1 or 2 step. So the call was correct.
So the half ends that way. And Saskatchewan, the big first half for Samuel Emelis. Got the touchdown catch. One of them anyway. Tommy Stevens had the other in short yardage. And Emelis now is standing by with Britt.
Sam, over 100 yards of offense, including a touchdown from yourself in the first half. Just how exciting is it for you to be back out here and contributing to your team?
Yeah, obviously being back, feel good, you know. That fumble I had kind of pissed me off a little bit, so it was kind of a wake-up call for me in the offense.
Well, you guys did shift the momentum quickly after things weren't going your way. How do you continue that in the second half?
We just got to keep applying pressure, you know. We know it's a great team. We just got to keep going with our game plan and everything going to go well.
Thanks so much, Sam.
Thank you.
Opening night of the CFL at the half. Saskatchewan leads the Ottawa REDBLACKS 17-7. Sid?
Great start by Ottawa. Drew Brown went 7 for 7 in the opening drive, the first 7 points of the game, but a good second quarter by Trevor Harris in the Saskatchewan offense.
One of the new REDBLACKS, Gino Lewis, with 1 catch for 22 yards. Here he is now with Brett.
Gino, I know you told me you actually do enjoy the challenges that a Saskatchewan defense gives you. So what adjustments are you going to make here in the second half?
Yeah, we just got to be a little more focused. Got to stop the penalties. Just take one play at a time and just not be behind the sticks all the time, and we'll be fine.
You were so close to a touchdown, but a great catch on your first pass from Drew Brown. How much are you enjoying putting on the REDBLACKS jersey and having him as your quarterback?
I'm just grateful to be here, man. Grateful to make plays for my team and going to make some more in the second half.
Thanks, Gino.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
That 1 catch was part of an 11-play drive to open things up in this game. Ended up with a Dustin Crum touchdown. Ottawa had the lead with all sorts of early momentum, but back came Saskatchewan. 17 unanswered points and the 10-point lead.
You see in that conversation, do you think that Gino Lewis said to Drew Brown, hey, I'm open?
Yeah.
Which is what every receiver says all the time.
We'll see if 87 gets a little more attention. Had a couple of targets in that first half. And
was open.
And then was a busy half offensively for Ottawa. Braylon Addison, their leading receiver, 5 catches, 54 yards. But Samuel Emelis, 6 catches, 106 and a touchdown. Second half, opening night, underway. Into the hands of Mario Alford. To the 42-yard line for Trevor Harris. 11 to 14 for 165. And the Riders have had some injuries. Let's get an update on those from Brett.
Not great news. A.J. Ouellette is out for the rest of the game with an upper body injury, as is Roland Milligan Jr. as well with that upper body. And Kean Schaefer-Baker will not return either with a lower body injury. So, guys, that's 3 starters this team is down.
Yeah, 2 big offensive weapons. And now you got Roland Milligan, too. He was the top defensive player in the CFL last year. So rough for the Riders beginning this season in terms of health. But they do have the 10-point lead here to start the second half. And Trevor Harris, very solid first half. And Thomas Bertrand-Houdon has been very solid. He's still running. A flag is out. Bertrand-Houdon. And all the way down into the red-black zone, bending the flag. Of course, he's getting a lot of work right now with the injury to A.J. Ouellette. But it's coming back.
You could see his reaction like a gut punch.
Number 67. 10-yard penalty remains first down.
When he saw the flag. That's Zach Fry at right guard, who gets the holding. He's right in here. But just a real good run off the right side. Bertrand-Houdon, good move there on Santos Knox, breaks the tackle of the safety. And Ringland and all coming back because of the holding.
Bertrand-Houdon from Mont-Saint-Hilaire, Quebec. Played CJEP all the way up, went to Delaware for his college ball and drafted by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Standing in there, and he'll get it too. The outlet for Harris. Harris and gets it up to the 35. And of course, will still set up a 2nd and long after that holding penalty.
So for the Red Blacks, Alonzo Adai hasn't come back. He's in the middle of the free safety, and Charlie Ringland, the 2nd-year player of the U of S. Folks in this area will know him well from the U of S Huskies program, and he's going to get that start. It looks like the rest of the game so far anyway at safety.
He was drafted by the BC Lions in 2023, his first year. Back with the Riders. Harris quickly again. Keyshawn Johnson, a nice cut. Yards after the catch, after that nice move. Following the catch to get it inside the Ottawa 40, and the Riders in business out of the gate to start this second half.
Yeah, the coverage was off here, and this was a inside route from Keyshawn Johnson, who has lots of room to make this catch in time to put the brakes on and cut back to the outside. He didn't have the first down. Interception in the first half by Colton, and this time Keyshawn Johnson wins and gets to the outside in the first down. That was 2nd and a long.
In his 2nd year at a Fresno State, he had over 700 yards receiving in his first year in the CFL last year. Already in scoring range for the Roughriders. Up 10. Quick fake over the middle, and wide open is Johnson again. And more good running after the catch to get it all the way down to the Ottawa 15. Saskatchewan striking quickly. Keyshawn Johnson, first down Riders.
Yeah, Trevor Harris is seeing the soft coverage on that left side, on the short side of the field. He's on the left hash, and he just with a little fake there, and then steps into this and avoids the pressure and the hit coming off that edge. And look at the room that C.J. Colton is giving Keyshawn Johnson. He's letting him get inside. Lots of room for Trevor Harris to hit him.
C.J. Colton had that pick in the first half. And the Ottawa 15, a 1st and 10. Harris.
Playing off again.
And off to Bertrand Houdon. After the catch, 5. Touchdown. Great way to start the second half for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, as they're poised to move ahead 7 more.
Well, and good for Bertrand Houdon, remember he got that big one taken off the board for the holding call, and you could see right after that play he kind of just ducked his head and went, "Oh, you got to be kidding me, that was a big one." Well, this is even bigger. He gets in the end zone. Nice move and patient run to get outside and cross the plane.
Thomas Bertrand Houdon in his 3rd year, and getting the chance after the injury to A.J. Olette, a 6-play, 68-yard drive. Bertrand Houdon gets the touchdown, and Brett Lothar for the point after again. So 24 unanswered points for the Saskatchewan Roughriders after they fell behind by 7 early on. Trevor Harris, quite a night so far. They're up 17. Another look at the touchdown drive, the latest one for Saskatchewan to go up 17 points.
Yeah, Trevor Harris taking advantage of some soft coverage from C.J. Colton on the corner and going to Keyshawn Johnson. That was a 2nd and 13. That was a big conversion to keep this drive alive, where Ottawa gets the ball back. Again to Keyshawn across the middle, and then Bertrand Houdon, who takes it outside to finish the drive. Good on him, offensive coordinator, for not changing the game plan, keeping the run game and keeping the tailback involved, even though they lost A.J. Olette.
Olette out for this game with the upper body injury. 24-7. A big hole for the Red Blacks. Daniel Adeboboye with that kick return. Trevor Harris. This is an impressive debut to another season for him. His 13th in the CFL. 15 for 18. 243 yards now. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. And Bertrand Houdon with his 3rd CFL touchdown.
Well, it's got to be a sense of urgency now for Drew Brown. I mean, I know there's lots of football to be played in the second half. We're just getting started here in the second half, but this game is slipping away. And Ottawa needs a drive. Missed a couple opportunities here.
Brown to pass. Completes that one. It's Hardy again up around the 44. So a second down and short coming up here for Ottawa. Hardy with 4 catches now for 64 yards.
You know, it's just it seems like it's such a razor's edge sometimes, and you think about the end of the half when they had a chance to maybe get 3 points there and some momentum going into half and lost those last few seconds on the clock, and then had a 2nd and 13 to start the second half. Didn't get their defense off the field, turned into 7.
Attaboy stays in at running back for the Red Blacks. They take the handoff to Addison, and it's in out of Aboye's hands. And to break a couple of tackles, as he can do, as he is taken out of bounds there by Nelson Lacomba.
Strong. That guy, I mean, Attaboy is a strong runner. I mean, he's one of those guys that you hit him, you feel like you're just hitting a rock. His bench press in the combine, he won it his year. And I believe he bench pressed 225, which is, about the weight of a Volkswagen 29 times. I mean, he is strong.
Got the first down up near midfield. Brown steps up, wobbly pass. Didn't get all rid of it there. It looks like a little bit of contact. And it just flutters down. Fortunately, not picked off from the Red Blacks point of view.
A few things here, Rod. One is it was full pressure from Saskatchewan, and Drew Brown had his back out of the backfield here in Williams Stanback, but Stanback thought he should put the brakes on and be the hot route after he saw the pressure, and Drew Brown thought he was going to keep going up the field. So just a little communication break right there.
That was Jameer Thurman, the middle linebacker, coming in on Brown and just making contact as he got out of the way. So second down and 10, throwing again, it's caught. Keelan White, the 3rd overall pick in the 2025 CFL draft, with another catch. Keelan White with his 3rd catch.
Little inside motion in the trips formation to get inside to be the under route. But I like his confidence to catch the ball with his hands, first of all, not try to trap it against his body. Remember, this is a 23-year-old rookie. He's made the starting lineup and doesn't look out of place at all. Tommy Condell has tons of confidence in the young receiver.
Important drive for the Red Blacks. That one really good one to start the game. Trying to add to that now, William Stanback. And running with the kind of power that we've become used to seeing at a Stanback, especially going back to his Montreal days. And slow to get things started here for Ottawa, but has a good pickup there.
Well, they're chasing the scoreboard now too, though. That's where you don't want to abandon the tailback, but you've got to get some points on the board. You've got to start pushing the ball and play with that sense of urgency in the passing game, or it disappears on you. That clock just disappears and runs out.
Getting closer to halfway already through this 3rd quarter. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. 4-man rush. It's complete. Over the middle and caught. Braylon Addison again. He has been the leading receiver for the Red Blacks in this opening night game. He gets that one down inside the Rider 25.
Braylon Addison, when you see this inside cut, you see how he just delays so he doesn't get too high on the deep player and DeMarcus Fields. He's playing the deep half, and Addison uses veteran savvy there to just gear down and present a target.
Down to the 21, 1st and 10. Red Blacks on the move, taking the pass is Stanback. And he breaks a couple of tackles and gets down close to the 15. Stanback working hard now in his Ottawa Red Blacks debut.
Yeah, and that tells me that maybe it was Stanback who made the wrong call on that blitz that was almost intercepted, and Drew Brown went incomplete, because this is I'm going to thank you for the ball again. Thank you for trusting me again. Now I'm going to make something happen and break about 3 tackles.
So 5 more yards in a 2nd and 5 at the Rider 16. Red Blacks trailing now by 17 points. 3rd quarter. Rolling out. Escapes the pocket, but a flag comes out as that one is just thrown out of bounds. Closest Ottawa receiver was Gino Lewis.
Good angle there from Caleb Sanders on the pass rush to not give Drew Brown the edge. Looked like he had time to get outside. Lots of time to throw.
Saskatchewan number 8, half the distance to goal. Result of the play is the third down.
Ball wasn't thrown, so it's illegal contact on Marcus Sales, who apparently had a tremendous training camp. Listened to a lot of reports out of Saskatchewan, and I kept hearing Marcus Sales' names. Interceptions and practice and training camp, at a big camp, but that's a costly penalty inside the 10.
Inside the 10 and a first and goal for the Redblacks. Needing a touchdown to get back into this game. Looking to the end zone. Nearly intercepted by C.J. Rivas, who stepped in front of Braylon Addison and just about snuffed out the drive on that one play.
Rivas can't believe it. The intended target is here. Rivas is right here. He's going to turn around and be underneath this coverage. He knows he's got help over the top from DeMarcus Fields, so he can cut underneath this and not worry about this ball being thrown up over his head. He's got deep help, so you can undercut a play. Rivas has it and just can't finish it.
Won that one back. See what Ottawa does with another chance. A reprieve. Down to the goal line. It's caught. Just shy of the goal line for Gino Lewis, and a late flag comes down. The Redblacks would be right near the Rider goal line. And did he break the plane when he caught the ball?
Well, scoring or potential scoring plays are reviewed automatically, so you know that's happening right now. Tough throw. Had to change the arm angle for Drew Brown to throw it around the rush. And does that ball cross the plane?
Does he? The front part of that goal line, the ball has to be across it. So they do call it a touchdown.
Well, they called it a touchdown on the field. They're automatically reviewing it because any scoring play is reviewed, or potential scoring play. And so they're taking a look, and it's already been a long look now because it's that close. I mean, that's a tough one because it's not the body. I mean, his body can be in the end zone. If the ball's not, it's not a touchdown. But there, it looks like it crosses the plane under his arm.
That is so close. Just the front part of the goal line, just a part of the ball has to get across it just to break that plane, and it would be a Redblacks touchdown. Very close call.
How about the strong hands of Gino Lewis, too? Just ripping that down. Bob Dice has the challenge flag, but he doesn't have to challenge. He doesn't have to use his flag to challenge that. That's automatically challenged.
It is an Ottawa touchdown. Handshakes. Congrats for Eugene Lewis, who extends his remarkable streak, by the way.
Everything on the field is a touchdown by Ottawa. However, we have an unnecessary roughness penalty against Ottawa number 54, which we applied on a kickoff.
But that is 9 straight games going back to last season for Eugene Lewis to get closer to the all-time record by the legendary Terry Evanston with Calgary back in the late 1960s. Gino Lewis, it would come down to next week against the Alouettes if he can get another one to tie the record.
To tie. And then they have Calgary.
But boy, did the Redblacks ever need that. And they get it from one of their new weapons, veteran Eugene Lewis. Has a touchdown for the Ottawa Redblacks. And they get a little bit closer, trailing by 10 here in the third. So, Glenn, let's update our chasing Terry Evanston board. Consecutive games with a touchdown. Eugene Lewis now tied with Sean Millington for second place, just one behind Evanston.
Look at that group. You got a couple of running backs, a fullback in there.
And Blake Marshall. And
yes.
Of course, the legendary Milt Stegall in there, too. He had 8 straight games. But Gino Lewis now with 9. Evanston had 10 straight games over 2 seasons with at least a touchdown in each one. So Saskatchewan still with a 10-point lead, and Mario Alford still just chugging in these returns. What a great opening night he's had. Dawson Pierre wrestling him out of bounds. Lewis looks back at that drive. Capped off, and he had an earlier catch that set up their other touchdown. Good opening night for Geno Lewis, but his team still has some work to do. Because of an Ottawa penalty on the touchdown, better field position for the Riders and helped out with this return by Mario Alford.
Mario Alford's had a few of these where Ottawa's got some momentum, has made a play, has done something good, and he's taken that momentum away immediately with a nice return. And there's another example of it. You know, last year Ottawa had two issues. It was a very good football team that made the playoffs, but had two issues. Penalties were one of them. They were second worst in the league in penalties. And they also were not good in the giveaway takeaway.
Utilized 8 times, and that unnecessary roughness one really hurts them on the kickoff. And that's Emilus waiting for it, catches it. He's had a terrific night, over 100 yards in the first half alone and a touchdown.
He's having himself a nice debut of the 25 campaign. Trevor Harris is forcing this brand new Ottawa secondary to figure it out quickly. It's picking them apart.
That revamped secondary you talked about, and missing their safety, Alonzo Adai, and there's one of the newcomers on the boundary corner, C.J. Colden. He was with the Red Blacks last year, but getting into just his second CFL game. In the Ottawa 28, Riders coming right back, starting with great field position and good running here. Thomas Bertrand Udon. We saw A.J. Olette on the sidelines earlier. His day is done, but this guy, Bertrand Udon, has been running hard.
Well, the coaches, the running back room has a brand new coach for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and he's a familiar face to football fans in the CFL and in our country. And his name is Andrew Harris.
I think I've heard of him.
You've heard of him, I think, and he is in the running back room teaching these guys the nuance of being an elite player at this level, because that's exactly what Andrew Harris was as a player. Of course, former teammate of A.J. Olette, who was injured in the first half, and hopefully it's not anything serious.
They were teammates in Toronto, and coming over, and you see the way Bertrand Udon is running, and not unlike the way Mr. Harris used to run.
Oh,
I mean,
that's a good point.
Ran hard. And got an injury in the field for the Saskatchewan offense, so we'll take another break. The Rider lead down to 10, but they are threatening again. We'll be back. Get ready for the RBC Canadian Open second round action. Live from TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley. You can tune in tomorrow, 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time, 3:45 Pacific on TSN and on TSN Plus. Thorbjorn Olesen at 9 under par and a tie after 61s. Cristobal del Solar as well. What a day, shooting a couple of 61s. For Canadian content there, you got Taylor Penrith, who had a 65, so he's at 5 under 4 back. After one round, the RBC Canadian Open. Back at Mosaic Stadium in Regina, a change on the offensive line. You see 65 on the right at left tackle, and taking over for the injured Peyton Collins. That was the injured player, so in his second year, one of the draft picks from a year ago, Daniel Johnson is in for a taste of the action now at a key point in this game. 5:20 in the clock in the third quarter inside the Ottawa 20. Riders at led by as many as 17, trying for that again. Here's the catch by Emilus. What a night. Inside the 10, Emilus still fighting his way down to the 6 before Adrian Fry hauls him down. We got a first and goal coming up here.
Well, bad luck again for the Riders in the offensive line department, because they lost a couple of guys. Remember, Micah Johnson had to play some O-line last year. Now they lose Peyton Collins, who was holding his own with Lorenzo Malden and Bryce Carter all game long, and the rookie playing at left tackle. And I know he was holding his own because we never talked about him. We would have talked about him in a big way if he was getting schooled, but he wasn't. Now he's out.
The Riders press on. Johnson at left tackle. Harris awaiting the snap. First and goal. Looks to the end zone. No. Close for Keyshawn Johnson. Was that a good half? But that one falls incomplete. Second and goal coming up.
Again, protection up front. Malden is blocked up. Allows just enough time for Trevor Harris to get the ball out of there, but just a little bit off target. You don't say that much or that very much when you're talking about Trevor Harris.
Just his fourth incompletion of this game. He's 17 for 21, 270. He's thrown a couple of touchdowns. There's one picked off, but a chance in the game, knocking on the door again for the Riders. Handing off. Bertrand has one touchdown. He has two. What a game for him, called upon after the injury to A.J. Olette. Bertrand Houdon finds the end zone again.
You know, you mentioned that he is almost running a little bit like the same style of Andrew Harris and how he used to run. And, you know, I mean, Bertrand Houdon is his own guy, and whenever he's got his opportunity, I mentioned his 6.6-yard average on limited opportunity in his career in 2 years in Saskatchewan, but he's getting more tonight, and he presses the line of scrimmage just like Andrew Harris used to do. Press the line of scrimmage, let your blocks develop, make your cut, and then accelerate.
Yeah, it's a real gut punch to the Redblacks, too, who got back to within 10, but what an answer for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, driving back down on a shorter field, capped off by another touchdown for that man, Thomas Bertrand Houdon. The point after by Lawther, but yeah, having a chat there with his coach, the legendary Andrew Harris. 5 plays, 43 yards only. Remember, the short field after the penalty that caused Ottawa to kick it deep in their own zone.
Daniel Johnson with a big block. Remember, he came in at tackle because of the injury. And then watch the kick out by Sam Emelis, who is having himself a heck of a game. Stop it there, guys, for a second. Right there. That's the point of attack, and he turns that defender right around and gets him out of the way of Bertrand Houdon, who takes it the rest of the way, breaks that one tackle at the goal line, and they both go in together.
And you're right. Good block there coming down by the second-year tackle who just got thrown into this drive, Daniel Johnson. And Trevor Harris looking a little younger than 39, don't you think? The way he's played tonight, and a little congrats again from Coach Andrew Harris and A.J. Olette for Bertrand Houdon. A memorable night for him. 31-14, back to 17 points. Daniel Adeboye and bumps into his own man, and a flag comes out as he's down shy of the Redblacks 40.
Boy, this is against Ottawa. It's just compounding. They're almost at 100 yards in penalties, and we're not into the fourth quarter yet.
During the return, holding number 28. First down.
You know, some of them are avoidable, and some of them are just part of the game. I mean, you're going to get the odd offside, you're going to get the odd procedure and holding and things like that, but you know, you want to eliminate the ones that you can control, like after the whistle stuff. But Ottawa, as I mentioned, last year, it was an Achilles heel for them.
Player that held 24.
This year, what are they at? Almost 100 yards in penalties.
They are. I'd be counting. That'd be 93 yards now on 9 penalties. And that is over twice as much as Saskatchewan has taken. Penalties really hurting Ottawa here. 17-point hole. They drove for a touchdown last time out. Deep shot. Brown again. Open receiver, but it's a little under. A flag comes down.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Kerfella Exime and Khalil Pimpleton, the intended receiver. Tavon Campbell, excuse me. Pimpleton was the target. He was open.
Saskatchewan number 26. Automatic first down.
So Campbell is called back in the CFL after several years away in the National Football League.
He started here, went down south, won a ton of games down there, and comes back, but there's no question it's pass interference here. It'll take him a little bit of time to figure out the angles again and the wide field and the different zones and how you work with your teammates on that, but there's no question on that call.
Gets just across midfield now for Brown. And under pressure, escapes the pocket. Lake Corte Moore chasing him, completes the pass to Eugene Lewis. Lewis with his third catch of the night in his Ottawa Red Black debut.
Power, precision, performance. The Lincoln Navigator Cup. Who will have their mic drop moment? July 1st, only on TSN.
3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Saskatchewan in charge, 31-14. But a big penalty. Another play to Eugene Lewis, who has a touchdown on the night. And Drew Brown has them back into the Rider territory, needing to score again to keep up. William Standback on the left side, and he runs into contact right away, but keeps plowing his way through down to about the 42. And that's a first down for Ottawa.
Boy, that last play to get in second and short, Eugene Lewis, a crazy good job to just make it up on the fly to give Drew Brown a target, keep this drive alive. He's really making an impact in his first game as a Red Black.
His first catch at 22 yards got them down near the goal line. They got a touchdown. He scored a touchdown on his second catch. And he has 3. First down. Toss inside to Justin Hardy, and running well as he gets around the edge and picks up about 8-9 yards for Ottawa. Second and short coming up.
Yeah, this is a play they went to quite often last year, and it was very successful. You got 2 real quick guys in Pimbleton and Hardy that can do this. Those under little fly sweeps get you outside, out the edge. A.J. Allen getting a little time on defense. Was tied for the league lead last year in special teams tackles. He's the guy who forces Hardy into his teammates' hands.
So up over the ball of the Ottawa Red Blacks, approaching the Saskatchewan 33. It's about a yard and a half to go for another first down. Brown handing off to Standback, and he is stopped in his tracks, and he might even be shy of a first down. It'll be very close.
Well, there's no question what Bob Dice will do no matter what the call. He's leaving his offense out there. It's just a matter of whether or not it's short yardage or a first down. They're saying third down. He didn't get there. That was a big hit by Jameer Thurman. And take a look at Thurman in the middle. 76 defensive tackles last year. I think he's one of those leaders in the middle like Wynton McManus in Toronto.
Well, a big third down now. They don't need much. Just a couple of inches if you look at the sticks. But they're down 17 points. It's getting them late in the third quarter. Half a minute to go. Dustin Crum is in. And it looks like he will have enough to keep this drive going as they approach the Saskatchewan 30.
Was it just me, or is that the second time Dustin Crum is not mishandled the snap, but has to hesitate to make sure he's secured the ball before he hits the hole and gets up in there?
So it's the last play of the third quarter coming up here. In a 31-14 game. That Rider response after Ottawa got back to within 10. Big difference here. 3-man rush. Brown gets rid of it. Wide open is Hardy. 15-10. And pushed out of bounds at about the Saskatchewan 8 by Nelson Lacombo. So the fourth quarter will begin. They switch ends, but Ottawa pressing again. Needing a touchdown to get back in it and make it a game in the final quarter of the first game of the CFL season. After 3, Saskatchewan leads the Red Blacks by 17. The Riders head into the final quarter. Well, Ottawa's threatening, but they're still up by 17. But what the numbers don't tell, Glenn, is how Saskatchewan's overcome some key injuries here.
Well, they've lost their starting left tackle. They've lost A.J. Ouellette on offense, Keon Schaefer-Paker on offense. And yet, you know, when you have a 39-year young Trevor Harris, you know, that would rattle a lot of teams to lose that 3 starters in skilled positions and 1 O-lineman. And yet he kept everything calm, is still over 80% in the completion percentage department, and still running that offense real smooth. Getting the run still involved, even with A.J. Ouellette out. that's consistent play calling, too, from Coach Mueller upstairs.
And now it's up to the defense, pressured with it a first and goal at the 8-yard line of Saskatchewan. Ottawa, once again, needing a touchdown. Handing off William Stanback. And he bursts his way down to about the 2 with a second and short coming up, and it's definitely a Stanback type of situation.
One more time to 31. But that's exactly why you bring in a power back like William Stanback. Get down inside the 10. If you can hand it off twice and score, ideal. Because when you throw it, Rod, as you know, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad for the offense.
It's the old axiom. Dropped or picked off. Second and goal. Drew Brown handing off, lunging forward for the Ottawa touchdown. So not only does Eugene Lewis get a touchdown in his red-black debut, so too does William Stanback.
2 back-to-back runs that really just, this is William Stanback. I mean, this is him. This is why it's been so much fun throughout the years watching William Stanback go to work. Look at that effort. Look at that balance. Put his right hand down, the strong right arm to catapult himself across the plane. That's just a great effort.
Boy, it really was, to keep his knee off the turf until he could break the plane and get that touchdown. And with the extra point to get it back within a 10-point game. This is the CFL. Hey, it's a new season, but always a reminder that 10 points is nothing with this much time left. But we'll see how the Riders respond again, because they've been great at it. Oh, and that got dropped by the holder, Richie Leone, and it was kicked when it was sideways by Lewis Ward. It didn't go anywhere, so they don't get the extra point, and it's an 11-point. Still a 2-score game, but 11 points now. The special teams coordinator, Rick Campbell, former head coach of the Red Blacks, looking on. They don't get the extra point, but they do get that very important touchdown. Saskatchewan with an 11-point lead early in the 4th.
Well, some issues with the hold here from Richie Leone on the extra point, and it just falls right off the tee. It looked like Leone was trying to get the lace away, and ever since that extra point was moved back, it is important to get the lace away, and it falls off the tee. So special teams coordinator Rick Campbell, former head coach in BC.
And before that, head coach in Ottawa, won a Grey Cup with the Red Blacks in 2016 when his special teams coordinator was Bob Dice. They're good friends, and Dice was happy to have Rick Campbell come back to Ottawa. Mario Alford on the return, and once again, it's a good place to start for that Rider offense.
And that's a big point. I mean, that's a big point. Yeah, it's 2 possessions. Still remains 2 possessions. However, Ottawa will need a 2-point convert, so they really need those 3 big plays. They need the touchdown, they need a 2-point convert, and then get the ball back and kick a field goal to tie, provided their defense can get a stop.
And a conversation there. Leone, who's the punter and has been the holder for Lewis Ward for years, and they have worked so well together. So that's just a rare miscue. And if you're taking the snap, and you said it looked like an issue with the lace as well to get it turned around, but they talked that over. And
well, it used to be when the converts were closer. Any close field goal, the kickers will tell you, don't worry about the lace. Let's just get it done, get it down. But the problem is not that the kicker hurts his foot on the lace. That's not the problem. The problem is if you kick the lace, it can take the ball sideways. It can take the trajectory in a different way, in a different direction. So that's why they don't want the lace. They want a nice smooth surface to hit. So, you know, and when the extra point gets pushed back, it becomes that much more important.
And I know you know of what you speak as a longtime holder for the Saskatchewan Roughriders for Dave Ridgway, robo-kicker.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I know you had that experience many times, including what must have been a nerve-wracking one to win the Grey Cup in 1989.
Well,
an aspect of the game that gets taken for granted by
well, it does. And, you know, I will say that I had a center in Bob Holy who could snap it and knew exactly where the lace would end up to make sure I never had to deal with it, which was really bizarre to me that he could figure that out.
Rider football. Still in front 11. Trevor Harris going back to work, dumping that one off. That's intended for Del Duncan Busby in his second year. And first target falls incomplete, second down.
Well, with Schaefer Baker out, Del Duncan Busby is going to get some playing time here. Action in 7 games in his rookie season. Had a few catches. Got his feet wet. His big game, the game where you kind of went, Duncan Busby can get it done, it was Ottawa. He played against Ottawa. He had almost 100 yards that game. 7 for 7. 7 targets, 7 catches.
Big second down for the Ottawa defense here. Harris completes it. It is caught by Myers. Tried to turn around. Adrian Fry had a hold of him, and that's a big hold too for Ottawa. Well shy of a first down, and a 2-and-out, and a rare one lately for Saskatchewan's offense, as we're going to see Joe Couch, the new punter for the Roughriders, coming out.
And Holder.
Saw him earlier on in this game, so technically the first punt. Brett Lother punted one after the field goal try went awry. So from Australia, Joe Couch for Devontae Dedmon. After a punt of 44 yards, and their coverage unit has Dedmon wrapped up pretty nicely, just outside the 20. When we come back, Britt's going to have more. Drew Brown and his relationship with his offensive coordinator, Tommy Condell, how well they're working together. Second year as the Red Black starter, and second year working under offensive coordinator Tommy Condell. Let's go back to Brett.
Well, simply put, Rod, he said he's his favorite coach he's ever had. And he actually talked to his former teammate, Zach Collaros, because Collaros had Condell as his OC about a decade ago when they were both kind of newcomers in Hamilton. And he said to Brown, I kind of got the level 1 Condell, who was still great, but you're getting the level 5, level 6 Condell. And when I asked Brown about his response to that, he said, well, he doesn't believe he has all the answers, but he works really hard to find all them. So we'll see what answers he comes up with, guys, as this fourth quarter winds down.
Yeah, he really was, Brett, singing Tommy Condell's praises when we talked to him this week about this game. We're down by 11. Back to work he goes. William Stanback picking things up in the second half now. Had a touchdown the last possession, and has a good pickup on that reception there for Ottawa.
Yeah, you think about the numbers for Drew Brown last year, missing 3 games and throwing for just shy of 4,000 yards. That's quite the accomplishment, leading this team to a playoff berth when he's just trying to figure out Tommy Condell's system, get chemistry with the rest of his teammates, become a leader in the locker room, all of those things. I think he's expecting and really feels good about this season, confident about this season, and taking that to another level.
It's a first down. Red Blacks up to the 32 after the catch by Stanback. Brown loses time, and he is down. Coming in, it's Hava Baldonado. A global player from Italy, went to school at the University of Pittsburgh. This is his 3rd year with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and big sack of quarterback Drew Brown. Baldonado.
Well, he came on in the second half of last year, and you start to really notice him when he goes just right by where it looked like the turnstiles of Darte Lee, playing on that right tackle spot in his second year at a UTEP, and he was just sprinted past him.
He had 2 sacks last year. He's got one tonight. And Brown further back. He completes it underneath Keelan White, and hit hard and taken down there by Jameer Thurman, who gets in well shy of the first down. So Richie Leone will be coming on to punt it away with just over 10 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, you don't even consider at this point in your own end on third down by 11, going for it. Lots and lots of time. But Ottawa needs another stop from their defense, and Trevor Harris will make the adjustments.
Mario Alford had 4 punt returns, total of 37 yards. A better night in kickoff returns, and catches that one. And he gets it. Oh, the ball came call, but a close call there for the Riders.
No yards. Ottawa number 6. 15-yard penalty, first down Saskatchewan.
No yards anyway, so that would have been, even if it was recovered, because that was a fumble. But even if it was tapped out or recovered by Ottawa, it was no yards. So Saskatchewan would have got the ball back.
And Alford did get it back anyway, but Darius Pickett called in the no yard. So still Saskatchewan ball. And it's right up at the Rider 50. A chance to really make things tough on the Red Blacks now. We'll see how this possession goes.
Well, if they want to get their offense back going after that last 2 and out, how about number 19? Get Sam Emilus the football and get things going again.
Well, he's had a busy night. The busiest of the receivers in this game, to be sure. And this guy's been busy. Taking over from A.J. Ouellette, Thomas Bertrand-Odom. But yeah, here's a look at Samuel Emilus and the things that he's been doing here on opening night for the Riders.
Well, it started in the first half. I mean, Trevor Harris just, not surprisingly, tremendous trust in Sam Emilus. Found the end zone in really double coverage at that point. And then when Ottawa was starting to push, I think they might be doing some good things in the comeback trail. Emilus took that away.
You see the 8 catches. That's on 8 targets, by the way. Emilus over 100 yards in the first half alone. That's going back towards Dante Myers. That one is incomplete. And it's 3rd down. So again, ultimately, the Red-Black defense giving their team a chance as Ottawa's going to get the football back, although barring a great return, they would be starting fairly deep in their own zone. See what Devontae Dedmon can say about that. He's been known to break them.
Oh, yeah. Both these returners. Potential to take it to the house every time they get it in their hands.
Joe Couch. I just love that name. For a player or for a fan. You got Joe Couch watching football too. And that Aussie style from the Pro Kick Academy. It's Dedmon. On the short side, he spins, trying to get loose. Good coverage. Aubrey Miller coming in, and the Riders just not giving him a chance right there. Red Blacks will soon be running out of chances. They're down a couple of scores. 4th quarter, Mosaic Stadium in Regina. French Open wrapping up. Roland Garros, it continues Saturday. The women's final coverage will get underway at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. That's on TSN and TSN+. Crunch time. Mosaic Stadium approaching the midway point of the 4th quarter. The Ottawa Red Blacks down 11 points, starting deep in their zone. The 17, Drew Brown. Some heat coming, sets up a screen, and well executed. Braylon Addison, lots of yards after this one as he gets it all the way up to the 50. The pressure was coming by the Riders, and Brown on that play exploited it.
Earlier in the game, they ran a fly sweep like this to Hardy, and this time it's Addison, but they don't run the fly sweep. They go to the screen to him. The screen's usually set up to the tailback and would be William Stanback, but they go to Addison. Big play.
Quickly again, Brown back to Gino Lewis and gets more good yardage on first down. Malik Carney taking him down, but it'll be a 2nd and short coming up. Heading to about 7 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter.
Nice play calling to start this drive, an important one to get down and close the gap here. Tommy Condell going with the screen to Addison on first down. Big gain there, and then back to a wide receiver screen. Right there to Gino Lewis.
Crowd picking up. Red Black ball back in the hands of William Stanback. That is his first touchdown as a Red Black earlier in this quarter. Enough for the first down inside the Rider 50.
I Micah Johnson's going to have to report wearing 57 if he's going to play defense when they lost their left tackle in Peyton Collins. Daniel Johnson goes in, plays for him, but that's the only O-lineman left, or potential O-lineman, is Micah Johnson for the Riders.
On the ground again, stand back. On first down, and he works his way inside the Saskatchewan 45. Yeah, with Micah Johnson, we saw that last year. Suits with all the injuries on the offensive line. Johnson had to play some O-line. Looks like, of course, with the uniform change, he's just going to be ready to go should they need him to go back to offensive line in this game. They only dressed 6 O-linemen when they had that injury to Collins. Brown quickly going to work again to Gino Lewis. The drive continues. Another first down, Ottawa inside the Saskatchewan 35.
That was a quick rush off the edge from Shane Ray, who is in the face. Like, watch how quick he comes off the edge here. But the read from Drew Brown, the recognition, real quick. Recognized, bam, right into the teeth of it to the curl. He's got that hot route over the middle to Gino Lewis and got it out of there before the rush got home.
Lewis has 5 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. Quickly again inside the 30. Another completion for Drew Brown. That time he went back to Addison. He's over 100 yards receiving on the night.
Now this is even important in the strategy. When Ottawa didn't get the single point, it changes the strategy now. I mean, because they could, if they don't get this 3 or 4 yards, they could kick the field goal now had they got that single point. Lots of time for another possession.
Brown looking to the right and feathered in nicely to Justin Hardy for the touchdown. Here come the Red Blacks quickly to get it within a score.
Well, I showed you great accuracy and pinpoint passing from Trevor Harris a couple of series ago, and how about that throw? Over top of Tavon Campbell and in front of the deep defender in DeMarcus Fields. I mean, the accuracy on that from Drew Brown on point. Wow.
Just perfectly laid in there for Justin Hardy, who could just walk into the end zone after that catch. The leading receiver for the Red Blacks a year ago has a touchdown grab, and the Red Blacks are going to go for 2. See if they can get it within a field goal. Low snap, he throws it away immediately, and it's just a one-on-one as Campbell and Lewis, and it falls incomplete, so it remains a 5-point game.
Well, this is something in playing in the NFL that Tavon Campbell is going to be used to. I mean, this is basically just press coverage, one-on-one, and with the smaller field down south, he got a lot of this. I mean, this is exactly what they do all the time, the jump ball and the fade with a smaller field, and so this is right in his wheelhouse. Inside position on Gino Lewis, one of the best at the jump ball in the receiving corps in the league. But this touchdown throw from Drew Brown, outstanding. There's your target right there, and Hardy. And watch him run this shallow corner route. And there's Tavon Campbell underneath trying to go for the football. He misses it, drops it right in between the 2 defenders, and that's nice. That's pinpoint throw right there.
Just a beautiful pass. And Hardy has it for the touchdown. To your point, though, earlier, but that missed extra point earlier on. It forced them to go for 2 this time around. And now it's a 5-point difference instead of them being within a field goal. Justin Brown, 391 yards passing on this opening night. Mario Alford on the return. So 3:50 on the clock. That red-black defense, the last couple of times, have quickly forced the Riders to punt it back. And they need to do it again as time is of the essence, although Ottawa certainly made it a game.
Oh, yeah, you can get 2-3 possessions inside of the 3-minute warning. So William Fields, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride in this game, and his first game as the DC here in Ottawa.
Big series here for both. Trevor Harris, 18 and 24 for 274. Throwing again, and incomplete, and a flag comes out for interference. It was intended for Keyshawn Johnson. C.J. Colden in there, and flags all over the field.
Same sort of roller coaster for Colden, who had that early interception. And since then has been backing off and given some room, and then the timing was off on his break. That's clearly pass interference. That's an easy call to make as you see all the flags flying. And C.J. Colden didn't even think about arguing on that one. Automatic first down. Not a lot of yards on that quick slant, but automatic first down for Trevor Harris.
Up across about the 47, Saskatchewan now, and the Rider first down. Yeah, the difference in penalties. Rearing its ugly head for Ottawa in this night. Handing off Thomas Bertrand-Hudon. Tackled there by Javon Santos Knox. He works his way up across the 50. So 2nd and 6 coming up. More 7. 6.5. This night 1. We get close to the 3-minute warning, and the opening game, the first of 81 in this regular season tomorrow. It's the Owls hosting the Argos. You get the doubleheader on Saturday with the Ticats in Calgary and Edmonton at BC Place. 2nd and 7. Call it. That is not. That's big. Keyshawn Johnson. The ball comes out. Red Blacks say they have it. And indeed they do. Johnson can't hang on after he caught the ball, and Ottawa getting a big break here, forcing him just inside midfield in the Saskatchewan zone. Adrian Fry makes the play. Red Black football.
Well, for Trevor Harris, this is how you draw it up. He made the right read, put the ball right where he had to. Keyshawn Johnson catches it, going across the middle, but the second time in this game, Adrian Fry comes up with the strip. Ball is out. That was a fumble. Ottawa recovers, and Drew Brown gets the football back. Second forced fumble for Adrian Fry.
Did it to Emilus back in the first quarter, so here we go. Red Blacks down 5. Under 3 minutes, big pressure coming in is Jameer Thurman with the sack on Brown back at the Ottawa 45, and a long second down coming up.
Right down Main Street, and this is very tough for the center in Jacob Ruby to get his head up quick enough. He's got to get that shotgun snap, but the timing from Jameer Thurman so good that he didn't get his head up quick enough to pick up Thurman down Main Street. And Drew Brown's in second and a bunch.
Third sack for the Rider defense on the night. 2nd and 20. That loss of 10. And look at the clock heading down towards 2 minutes. Big second down here. Quickly underneath. Hardy. How much can he get after the catch as he works it up near midfield? We still have a 3rd and long coming up with 2:02 on the clock, and Brown is laboring after taking a hit following that pass. On the previous play, excuse me, that he took the hit
right
when
down.
Thurman got him. Yeah.
Still time. I think Bob Dice making the right call here. He's got 2 minutes on the clock. That's plenty of time, but he'll need a 2 and out from his defense, and he's got a timeout inside the 3-minute warning. So punt the ball away. Rely on the defense to get the 2 and out and maybe get one more possession.
The punt by Leone. And Alford has it inside the 20. Cuts it back up, gets up to around the 26, 27. So 1:46 on the clock. Riders need to get a little drive going to wrap this up, and the Red Blacks looking to get the ball one more time. As mentioning the remainder of week 1, the defending Grey Cup champion Argos and a rematch with the Alouettes. They beat them in Montreal in the East Final last year. That's tomorrow, 7 Eastern, Friday Night Football, and doubleheader. Hamilton and Calgary. Suits and I will be heading to Vancouver for Trey Ford and Nathan Rourke with the Elks in the
I was going to ask you, Rod, like, what's your, you know what, I won't ask you. What's your favorite Snoop Dogg song?
I'll go with the one most receivers hate, Drop It Like It's Hot.
Okay. He's opening the show in Vancouver.
Yeah, he is. Snoop Dogg will be there. So there's they keep it on the ground on first down. Bertrand Odas. So it's going to be a second and long, a very large second and long coming up here for the Red Black defense.
Right here. Ottawa gets the stop, and the strategy from Bob Dice to not go out on third and long pays off. Trevor Harris converts here. He can drain another, what, 35 maybe? 40 seconds off the clock at the very least with 2 more plays.
And it's ticking now down to a minute and a half in this opening game in a 2nd and 8. Harris quickly to throw over the middle. It's caught by Picton. What a big catch for Mitch Picton. Another completion for Harris. We're arguing no, but they move up quickly over the ball, and that first down.
That's the bender, and how about the confidence and the timing from Trevor Harris? Had a coverage underneath from Davion Taylor.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
Well, what do you think? Did he hang on? Red Blacks saying no. That you could see the movement of that football.
Well, Picton was over there waving immediately, trying to tell his coach that this hit the ground. But let's take a look. Picton has it there. It's kind of, he's juggling and it's floating. It bounced.
Can see it come down and bounce. That's no catch.
Between his legs.
Does not survive the contact, loses the ball, and as they review this, looks like it'll be going back to the original line of scrimmage.
That angle from behind looked...
You can see them moving back already. The command center taking a look, and we anticipate this play is coming back.
After automatic review by the command center, the pass is incomplete. It's 3rd down.
Nearly for Mitch Picton and the Riders. But instead, it is a 3rd down. Joe Couch is on. Ottawa's going to get another chance. 1:23 in the clock and a 3rd and 8. And Couch will be standing inside the Rider 15 to get this one away. And you've got Devontae Dedmon back at the Red Black 25. If ever there's a time for one of the great returners in Ottawa football history to break one open, now would be it. Shorter punt by Couch, off the hop. Dedmon takes it at the 35. Good coverage again by the Riders, gets out of bounds. And 1:12 on the clock. Drew Brown looks like he's still favoring a little bit there, coming back on.
Well, it was the first down of the last drive, and it was the Jameer Thurman blitz right down the middle. This was the hit that looked like he might have landed on his hip, or it would twisted his hip in some way. And he's been sort of nursing that on the sideline and walking around in pain. He is out there, but likely won't be very mobile. So does Corey Mace send the house?
Crowd getting louder now. Getting out of the final minute. The throw nearly intercepted off the fingertips of Addison. And it was DeMarcus Fields coming in as well. He is the player who is down, coming in with a chance for an interception that could have effectively ended this game.
A little high on the throw. Addison got his hands on it, but yeah, DeMarcus had a chance at it right there. I mean, it hit him in the chest, and then I think he got.
Yep. So enough said.
Okay.
Some things don't require description.
Oh, good to see him getting up. He's going to have to come off, though, for 3 plays. It's a painful one, but once that pain subsides, you can actually go out and play, but it's like...
That's one fan's reaction. DeMarcus Fields. It's a 2nd and 10. 1:08 on the clock. 3-down territory to be sure for the Redblacks now. No more punting. See what they can do with Brown getting chased by Malik Kearney. He got him. Mike Rose helps him out. The Rider defense stands strong again up front. Lots of pressure tonight. That's the 4th sack by Saskatchewan. And it buries the Redblacks deep in their zone with no choice but to go for it on a 3rd and very long.
Yeah, I think Kearney starts to flush him, and then it's Rose that's going to end up getting the sack. But it was Kearney that first flushes Drew Brown out of there. He gets him on the run, and once he's on the run, now Mike Rose continues to hustle to the football and cuts him off. But it was Kearney's initial rush coming off that edge, pretty much unblocked, that forces Drew Brown, who's not very mobile because of that hit, to try and get on the run.
3rd and 27 yards. This is it on opening night. Brown completes it underneath the stand back. There's a lot of yardage he needs, and he doesn't quite get there. Shy by 2-3 yards. Riders are going to win this game as they turn it over on downs with 40 seconds to go and the ball in the Redblack zone.
Sort of managed that 4th quarter against Saskatchewan with all their injuries on offense. They lost 3 starters. Well, 4 if you count the offensive line as well, but 3 in the skilled positions. And Corey Mace also lost Roland Milligan early in this game on defense. So he's going to be happy that they hung in there to keep this lead, and we'll finish this off. But, I think if you're Ottawa and Bob Dice, you walk in and say, guys, we didn't give up. We brought it to a 1-possession game and had the ball with 1.5 minutes to go.
They had been down by 17 a couple of times. You're right, got it closer, but looking like it's all for naught. Now spinning out is Thomas Bertrand. One of the notable players in this game, especially given the circumstances with the injury to A.J. Ouellette, that 13 carries. And
well, Drew Brown threw for over 400 yards and 2 touchdowns and won't get the win. And that hit by Jameer Thurman, took a little bit of wind out of his sail because of his hip, and now he can't move around as much. He didn't step into that one throw down the seam with 1 minute to go. So some timing issues there with Ottawa getting the ball last of the 1.5 minutes there with a chance to go down and put the winning points on the board. But full credit to the Rider defense. Good pass rush. And their offense kind of hung on in the 4th quarter.
Yep, it did. And Drew Brown, 34 of 41 for 413, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But ultimately, it's those numbers at the bottom, the big ones that matter the most with Saskatchewan. Now 0.5 minute to go, hanging on to that 5-point lead and just trying to kill the clock. Back to Bertrand Hudon. A couple of touchdowns on this night, one rushing, the other one receiving. So an admirable job by him in light of what you talked about, all the injuries the Rough Riders have faced.
Yeah, Bertrand Hudon had a tremendous game.
Really did.
And Coach Mueller up in the booth, the offensive coordinator, didn't hesitate to give him the ball. I mean, yes, they lost Schaefer Baker. I mean, A.J. Ouellette out of the lineup, and Coach Mueller just said, we're going to stay with our game plan and have tremendous confidence in Bertrand Hudon, and 2 touchdowns later and a 31-26 lead. And kill the clock here and get the first win of the season.
last time these two teams met, it was here last September, and it was the Riders victorious in that game, and looking very much like they will get another win here to start the 2025 season with a timeout called. Third and 7. The Ottawa 36 with 8 seconds to go. So what do you do here to make absolutely sure the Red Blacks have no chance?
It's like you don't want to put it in the hands of Dedmon.
No.
And there is a play where the quarterback will drop back 10, 15 yards, throw it as high and as far as he can, and hope that the clock completely runs down and you throw it out of bounds. They're going to put the punt team out there, so Devontae Dedmon might get a shot here. Although you can also kick it right through the end zone if you get a hold of one.
And another dangerous returner in Khalil Pimpleton is on the other side. They have two returners back. Here's Pimpleton. He had a punt return touchdown last year. Dedmon has 6 return TDs in his career. So Joe Couch takes his time, puts it down to Dedmon around the 5, and not much space to work with, and that is it. DeMarcus Fields pushes Dedmon out, who doesn't like it. The Saskatchewan Roughriders like this, though. Opening night in the 2025 Canadian Football League season belongs to the home side. Saskatchewan beats the Ottawa REDBLACKS 31-26.
Good start by Drew Brown. Big numbers, won't get the win. We'll see what his health looks like as the week goes on. He got that hip injury late. Trevor Harris, good second quarter, real good third quarter, and then hung on in the fourth quarter after a couple of injuries.
So the REDBLACKS and the Riders, lots of changes coming in with renewed promise in a new season. Great start, Ottawa, but the Riders responded before the REDBLACKS made it interesting near the end. Saskatchewan overcoming adversity and the key injuries and getting it done in front of the home crowd here at Mosaic Stadium. And so begins a new season in the Canadian Football League. Thanks for watching Friday Night Football tomorrow. SportsCenter is next on TSN. Good night from Regina.